What's going on, guys? This is Derek Ledwidge from Strive Fitness Performance. Today's video, I'm going to go over 3 tips to become consistent. And the main reason is simply because when people try to get result, usually for fat loss, when they become working for us or doing a challenge or nutrition coaching or just coming to the gym in general, it's for fat loss, right? Sometimes it's muscle building, but most of the time it is for fat loss. And the biggest way to get results is to become consistent, which is why it is the biggest struggle. It is very hard to be consistent over a longer period of time instead of just 1 week, 2 weeks, a couple days, 6 weeks and beyond, right? So in order to get long-term results, you have to be consistent over a longer period. And so that is where most people struggle. So today I'm going to go over 3 different reasons why people are not consistent, and then also different tactics to counteract that and become consistent, right? A lot of this stuff will be, general knowledge, because we talk about it a lot of times, or you might be hearing it from different, people on Instagram or YouTube or podcasts or anything like that, but they need to be said anyway, right? So here are the 3 tips to become consistent, right? So if you're struggling to be consistent, so we'll look at some of this stuff. This is what we do when we do our coaching programs, right? Everyone is very, very individual, but this is the same type of stuff that we always talk about. First one, most people struggle because they do too much. This is the New Year's resolution actions, right? People they have so much motivation. So I'm gonna change everything. I'm gonna go work out 7 days a week and eat 1,000 calories and track macros and do this, do that, do this, right? And because they want it, right? They want that result so bad that they're going to do everything, right? And a lot of times it becomes too much for them. It's too much for most people. Even if I did it right now and I went and worked out 7 days a week and I ate like 1,500 calories because I wanted to lose weight really, really fast, I'd probably get burnt out initially, just simply because I'm going from here to here. Right? We want to be here to here to here to here. We want to take that step because your body adapts to whatever you're doing, right? If you do too much, just like working out, right? If you've never worked out a day in your life and you go work out one time, it doesn't matter what you do or how hard you go, you're probably going to be sore as fuck, right? So we want to take small actions instead. We want to take those small little actions and stack them. We want to just keep on going back and forth. And that's how you get consistent, right? You're not going to be consistent going 0 to 60, right? You're going to be coming 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, then 20 to 30, right? And now all of a sudden you get to this 60 and now you're killing it, right? So most times people try to do too much too fast and they get overwhelmed. And so then we want to work on doing smaller actions to be consistent there. Right. The second thing is we want to keep track and stack our consistency. Most of the time people are lost in the micro, right? They're right here. They're lost in actually how consistent they are, right? That's why a lot of times we use like the calendars, right? Or in our Trainerize app, we have, the habits, right? It has the calendar and, hey, are you consistent? Yes or no, right? Most people are very, very focused on what's happening day to day, hour to hour. They're not thinking about how they have done over the course, right? They might be like, I've done so well and I'm not losing weight, but you backtrack and you're like, well, you were off this day, this day, this day, this day. That's 4 out of the 7, right? So you were consistent 3 of the 7 days. That's not really consistent. That's not 80%, right? So what we want to do is to create that awareness, right? Consistent awareness breeds that consistency, right? We want to make sure we're actually aware with that, right? And that way you can actually track it, look at it, and get better. This is why we do our check-ins, right? This is why we always preach about imperfect action, right? It's not just about checking in for the sake of checking in. You're going to check in and, okay, how did I do? Where do I see improvement? How am I going to improve next week, right? That's the constant battle, especially the first 3 to 4 weeks of the process, right? Because the 3 to 4 weeks, that's when most people fail because they're not paying attention to it, right? So we want to keep track and then stack the consistency on top of each other, just like that small actions. So track it, figure out whether or not you did it, right? A perfect tactic would be a calendar, right? Whatever you're trying to do. I'm going to, track my macros, right? Let's just say that. All right. Each day I do it, I make a check, right? How many days to work out? If your goal is 5, how many times did I do 5, right? Each week. And you just keep on keeping track of it, making a check mark. And at the end of the month, end of the week, whatever your goal is, you are looking back at it. It's like, am I doing it 80% of the time, 70% of the time, right? Like, where am I at? Like, and if not, it's just very similar. We always talk about it with, trying to save money, right? If you look at your bank account and you're not saving money, and each month you go back and you're still not saving money, the plan needs to change because you're not as consistent as you thought, right? It's the same exact thing. Most people don't associate that with losing weight or working out or like that because they know, well, I'm doing stuff, so I must be doing it right, right? You want to actually keep track of it, and then you stack it on top of it, right? So pay attention to what, like, are you actually being consistent, right? Most people don't do that. That's why they're very hamsters on the wheel. They're doing a bunch of shit and they associate that with getting results, right? I'm working really, really hard and I should be losing weight. Well, yeah, you're working really, really hard, but you're not productive. You're very, very busy, but you're not productive, right? It's a very, very big difference. And that's sort of what we pay attention to. That's the benefits of actually having a coach, because they tell you exactly what the hell's going on. The last one is have practical goals, not optimal, right? The optimal ones is, hey, I should be able to do this right now, right? Instead, you want to focus on what you actually can do, right? Biggest focus on that is a lot of times when people say, a perfect plan done like 10% is worse than an okay plan done 80%, right? It doesn't matter if it's a perfect plan. Doesn't matter if they're perfect macros. If you can't do it, then it doesn't mean shit, right? So you want to be able to practical, not just future, more important, practical right now, right? This is where a lot of people fall off on when they've lost weight in the past, right? Or they have a life event happen. A lot of times when people lost weight in the past, they say, oh, maybe they did it tracking macros and now they're trying to do it. And like, I should be able to do this, right? I should be able to lose weight. I did it before, right? I should be able to do that, right? In reality, it's, well, yeah, you should, but you're not. So here's the proof. Let's do something different, right? Let's focus on some small things until we get there, right? And they're focusing on the optimal stuff. I should be able to do this, but you can't. We want to focus on the practical, right? What can you do right now consistently? And then you build on top of that. So all of these things are very, very similar, right? We want to focus on that small actions, right? We want to make sure we're tracking it, right? So we know exactly what the hell's going on. And are you consistent? And more importantly, those small actions need to be practical. Can you do it right now? Yes or no, right? Not what you want to do. It's what can you do, right? And that's the 3 tips that I would have to be consistent, right? 3 things why people are not consistent and 3 tips why you can become consistent. Right. If you have any questions, or if you have some questions about, some different habits that you want to try or anything like that, post in the comment section. I will always be responding to them. Other than that, I will